welcome to Minnie and Me on the Road. Today I want to share with you what could be the world's lightest oven. This is from Omnia oven and it weighs only 500 grams and makes it perfect for the Caravan. It can be used on any stovetop except for induction, and it has 3 parts. I'd been looking at them for ages, but I finally bit the bullet when I came across another camper who'd said that she was using hers all the time. So that night I went online and I bought it from Nomad Nature. The oven and 2 silicone rings, which are like these. 2 different colours, so you've got one for sweet and one for savoury. Cost me $188 delivered. It says you can cook anything in this that you would cook in a regular oven. After 12 months on the road with only being able to use the fry pan and the saucepan, I am super excited to test this out. First off, I decided to try roast vegetables in it. I love roast garlic, so I cut the bottom off a bulb of garlic, drizzled oil and wrapped it in foil. Peeled and chopped up some sweet potato, onion and drained and rinsed canned chickpeas and drizzled it all in oil. I had it on the lowest setting on the gas cooker and set it for about 75 minutes. After about 60 minutes, I turned it to high to see if the veggies would go brown and crunchy. I found the chickpeas did, and some of the sweet potato, but it was also very soft. Next time I'll start it on medium heat and turn it up to high around the 30-minute mark and see what happens. It's going to take some experimentation, especially as it doesn't have a thermometer. You can buy one to add on, but there seems to be mixed reviews about whether the thermometer is beneficial. I really enjoyed this meal. There will definitely be more roast veggies to come. Next was banana bread. I had overripe bananas in the fridge to use, so this was the perfect test. The recipe I followed said to cook for an hour, but I checked after 30 minutes and it was done. Thinking about it, I reckon it's because this pan's much thinner than the loaf tin normally used. Again, delicious. Next was pizza. I've wanted to cook pizza for a long time. I also had Greek yogurt that needed using, so I followed the 2-ingredient pizza dough recipe. It's 1 cup of self-raising flour and 1 cup of Greek yogurt mixed and then kneaded for 5 to 8 minutes. I always use plain flour and baking powder to make self-raising flour. This way I never have the wrong flour in the cupboard. You use 2 teaspoons of baking powder to each cup of plain flour to make self-raising flour. I divided the dough into half, putting 1 half in the fridge for the next day and rolling this half into a thin strip, then laying it in the silicone ring and pressing it to shape. I baked the base for a little, then added the toppings and baked for a while longer. I changed the heat from low to high a few times, but next time I'd leave on high. Homemade pizza is delicious. This was ham, cheese and pineapple. The bottom plate is stainless steel and you can preheat that on the oven whilst you're preparing the dish in the actual pan. You can also lift the pan on and off the bottom plate as needed, but if using gas, be careful not to catch the tea towel light. I actually turn the gas off when I'm lifting the pan on and off the stove to make sure I don't start any fires. Also, the knob on the lid gets really hot, so you need to use an oven mitt or tea towel each time you lift the lid off and on. I decided to use the leftover pizza dough as a base for quiche. I tried blind baking the base with rice, but I would skip this next time as the rice got into my base. After the base had been cooked for a little while, I poured the quiche mixture carefully over the base and cooked at medium heat. Then, when it was almost done, turned up to high. This also came out well, tasted delicious, and I used eggs, cream, ham, cheese and salt and pepper. Lastly was the scones test. I made lemonade scones. 3.5 cups self-raising flour, 1 cup lemonade and 1 cup thickened cream, gently mixed, then laid out and gently kneaded 3 to 4 times and then pressed out 2.5 centimeters thick. I used my coffee cup to cut to size with a little milk drizzled over the top. I tried the first batch of scones on low, but 15 minutes later they were still almost raw. So I turned them up to medium, and then 15 minutes later they were cooked and super fluffy. The second batch I cooked on medium heat, and they were cooked about 15 to 20 minutes later. Again, the scones were amazing. You'd never know they were cooked in a real oven, except for the funny shape. After a few days of testing, I would say everything was a success. There will be trial and error to improve cooking times and what heats to use, but I would definitely recommend, and I know I will be doing a lot more baking going forward.